another step. Take another step. Another step. Don't you give up yet. Another step. Take another step. Another step. Don't you give up yet. Another round. Go another round. Another round. Lift up off the ground. Another round. Go another round. Another round. Lift up off the ground. I am only a child living in the darkness, with my heart skipping beats, staring at the matches. Now I wait for the wind to tell me we are all crazy. Now I sing for the stars. I'm here but my voice is shaky. I used to wait for the world to change. I suppose there's still time left in the day. Can I hold your heart in mine? Can I hold your heart in mine? Can I hold your heart in mine? Can I hold your heart? I did keep it all inside. It ricocheted, it's ceaseless. Though my organs are tough, I dial my machinist, and he arrives with the part I've never even heard of. He says it's new, fancy tech, and starts to make the first cut. And who am I if not dying all the time? And who are you if not diamonds on the vine? Could you hold my heart this time? Will you hold my heart this time? Will you hold my heart this time? Will you hold my heart? As I'm watching the dirt pile on the gravestone, I have only one thought: what I could have done better. So when you reach the gold mine, could you pull out a pen and paper, write me a letter, and burn it in the wind?
And with that, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in this awakening, chaotic, transformative, changing planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Meetup with the Intuitive Prospector here on the Intuitive Prospector page. I'm your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector. I'm a accredited, certified, uh, curious, educated, psychic, medium, intuitive, spiritual coach, life coach, whatever you want to call me. Been doing this for few years now. I'm coming to you live from my healing and transformational studio here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest of Seattle, Washington. Happy New Year to you, 2026. The year of the horse has arrived. Giddy up, saddle up, buckle up. There's a lot to be coming our way. I come here on Fridays through the Intuitive Prospector Facebook page. So if you have not yet subscribed, liked, or followed, please make sure to do so. We're here at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we reach a global audience. So check your local time zone for wherever you're at. But that's 10 a.m. Seattle, Pacific, Washington, Pacific Northwest, Washington State, all the way up in the far left-hand corner of the United States. For those of you that have never been to Seattle, good morning to my subscribers. Good morning to the top fans, the followers. Good morning to my team that keeps this positive, keeps this social media inspiring, encouraging, motivating, a place to come, a community on Fridays where you don't have to worry about politics or the ongoings of the world. I will at times touch on them, but at the same time, we don't spend a lot of time here. And everybody is welcome from all different perspectives, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings sitting at the life of table, and at the end of the day, we all go to the same place. So really the only thing that separates us is religions and politics and ego. So if you show up and you're here on Fridays, welcome, welcome, welcome. Leave a comment in the comment section where you're at from around the world. If it's your first time or if you're returning. And again, thank you for the journey. Thank you for the collaboration, if you will. So I do apologize. I am getting over that wicked sickness and flu that's been going around. And yes, COVID is back. I got it a few days ago, and I'm finally on the downside of it. Hopefully, I still got a little lingering cough, but be mindful out there. You know, we do have viruses and vaccines, right? That's another controversial battle. I would align more to the vaccine side just because I spent 25 years in healthcare, from emergency medicine to actual hospital care to oversight of the healthcare system. So I saw a lot of, science that supports vaccinations. But not everybody's there, and that's okay too. We're not talking about that today. But, it is the vaccine versus viruses, and we have to have viruses in order for us as humans to even survive, right? So don't like being sick. It's one of my pet peeves, but I am I'm on the recovering side. But at times I may lose my voice, so I do apologize for that. Good morning to Cynthia. Good morning, Kara. Good to see you all. A couple of you dropping in to just hang out. So grab your coffee. I've got everything. I've got my water. I've got my cough drops. I've got freshly made protein shake, and of course, a nice big cup of Joe. So today we're going to talk about something that I learned from a time management standpoint. And I'll be sharing this with you. I'll be sharing some concepts. And again, when I'm sharing concepts, it's my perspective. Now, I've got a few years on this planet, so I do have some life skills. Um, I, I'm heading for mid 50s. My goodness. But I think that age, education, I think curiosity leads us to education. Education leads us to knowledge. Knowledge leads us to wisdom. And then wisdom at the end of this journey leads us to a form of enlightenment. Buddha talked about enlightenment all the time, but when we strive to reach enlightenment, um, even when we get to enlightenment, there's still things you have to do as a human. You still got to tend your garden. You still got to take the garbage out. You still got to clean your toilet, even in the state of enlightenment, right? And so, with my journey, I've always been passionately curious about all things that are known, seen, and all things unknown and unseen. And what I try to do is on Fridays when I come here, I try to bring my background and my education. And I have a lot of different educations from the University of Phoenix to the University of Washington to Stanford University and everything in between that's metaphysical. But I try to bring my life skills because I've always been passionately curious. And that's why my company is called the intuitive prospector because we're all prospecting for something bigger than ourselves. I always talk about prospecting for the diamond within because the diamond is created under extreme pressures, and we all have pressures of life. And eventually that piece of coal that's deep in the darkness is compressed under stresses and strains and life, and it eventually turns into a nice, beautiful diamond, and then it's revealed, and it's considered valuable in today's world. What's interesting, though, the planet that we live on, from a scientific standpoint, from a metaphysical standpoint, diamonds are actually pretty relative in the universe. It's the trees on our planet that are actually very rare, if you think about it. And so I try to bring my education, my life skills, my background, my loss, my failures, and my joys and my successes to this platform to inspire you, to encourage you, to motivate you, to maybe get you thinking outside the box, to become your own intuitive prospector, because we all have intuition, but we also have free will and choice of what we want to do with that. And a lot of times I always remind my students and my clients that we can lead a human to knowledge, but we can't make them think. And that's where I come into play. So good morning to you. Happy New Year again. The year of the 9 is now completed from a numerology standpoint. The year of the 9, in numerology, we go through the 1 all the way through a cycle of 9. And outside of that 1 through 9 construct is the master numbers of 11, 22, and 33. And we won't talk about those because just in the years that we measure as humans, the year of the 9 is now completed. And now we start back over at the year of the 1. If you follow astrology, if you follow numerology, there's many different variances that you can follow. I've always found numerology to be fascinating because it's the cousin to music, and it's also involved with mathematics. Those are two scientific components that actually, you can take sound music, and we know that the vibration is a frequency. Just like, I always talk about the Christ consciousness not being a religious, the Christ consciousness is actually a frequency. And even a lot of the gurus who talked about, unlocking secrets of the universe and metaphysics and the understanding of our place in the universe, is we start to think in terms of energy and frequency and vibration, not necessarily language. And so we bring, that's why I love numerology, because it is, as Pythagorean, if you know mathematics or Pythagorean's theorem, it was the cousin to music. And music is what? A series of notes compiled together to create what we call today music. And music is very influential, right? So numerology, the year of the 9 was the year of the snake. And we always say in numerology that we start back over, and now we're in the year of the horse. So I always say the snake cleared the way, shed the skin of last year. So if last year was a tough year for you, this year is probably going to be even more exciting, but yet awakening, transformative type of energy, because it's the year of the horse. So the snake cleared the way, the horse leads the way. So get on that saddle, hold on, buckle up, because you're going to need a lot of variance and flexibility for what we're going through and what we're going to continue to go through in the year of the 1, because things are just beginning. But if you followed my work, if you followed my podcast, if you followed my articles or my book, I've talked about, all the way back in 2017, 2018, I started talking about how our roaring 20s of this decade would be very transformative, very awakened. And historians will look back at this period as a great period of transformation and ascension. Now, we're going through a lot. That the world will not change that. The world, when you put humans in our history, and we've been on the planet for about 300,000 years, we've always had this struggle of competitiveness and ego and religion and politics and war. That will continue. And if you follow my work, I said in the roaring 20s, there would be a couple things that would unfold. One, we'd learn that we're not alone in the universe, that we're not the only intelligent species either on the planet or outside of the planet, which means there's a lot of places on this planet we have not yet explored. The oceans are deep down in the earth. We're sending a crew for the first time in 50 years, since the year I was born in 72. We're sending Artemis back in just a month's time, less than a month now. We're sending a crew back to the moon to fly around the moon to start exploring, because we're explorers by nature. We are curious by nature. And that's what I am. I'm curious about everything from aliens to Loch Ness Monster to Bigfoot to death and dying to angels to ascended masters to everything in between, right? And so, there's a lot going on in our world, and that's not going to change. But, whether it's, like I said, the politics or government or World War III, but I said in our roaring 20s, and you can go back to my podcast, you can go back to my articles, they're all at marclainhart.com right here. I said that the United States would probably experience a new civil war between states and federal. That's taking place right now. and it's increasing. I said that we'd probably see a buildup to World War III, but without nuclear weapons, and that would be something more of a technology, technical advances, not necessarily boots on the ground. We're seeing that in play right now. There's a lot going on between Venezuela, Ukraine and Russia, Taiwan and China, Yemen and Saudi Arabia. These are just things that are going to take place that we can't control. And I'm not a doom and gloom psychic type of guy. It's just what we can do is be aware of that and acknowledge that, but we can also focus on the things that help our daily lives, that impact our daily lives, and be an inspiration and a positive vibration to our world. That's what I'm about. But I will, I will bring forth things that I have seen, and that includes in this roaring 20s of our transformation is learning that we're not alone. If you haven't seen the new documentary on Prime, The Age of Disclosure, if you haven't seen that, I would highly recommend to go watch it, because after watching it, you're going to be like, yeah, duh, we're not alone. We've never been alone. A lot of what we are today and who we are and the technology we have is because of other intelligent species. We also are now, I just watched the Tech Summit in Vegas and the new robot coming out from Boston Dynamics. And I've been talking about this for 10 years. I followed Boston Dynamics. I used to live in Boston back in a prior life when I was in the Coast Guard. And I've been following this company for a long time. They just revealed their robot, their autonomous robot that's going to start replacing jobs. So we're going to be talking about AI. We're going to be talking about automation. We're going to be talking about robotics in this roaring 20s that are coming. We're going to be talking about flying cars that are being delivered out in 2025, 2026. But that's the year of the one, right? That's innovation. And sometimes innovation and competition creates the stuff that we take, that we sometimes take for granted. But in between, there's a lot of things that we can look at that are more positive than just the world events, right? So I don't really get into, you don't need me to regurgitate stuff that you're already getting through your newsfeed, because we all have this technology, right? We all have our smartphones and our news media. And so you don't need me to regurgitate what you're already probably seeing through the news cycles or the social media platforms. What I try to do is show up to inspire you, to give you some perspectives and some diamonds to prospect for if that's something that you're interested in. And again, I became a believer in ufology back before 1999, so almost 26 years ago, because I'm a personal experience of disclosure of unidentified flying object, underwater submerged objects, which we now call not UFOs, we actually call it unidentified. It was at one time it was called unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP. Now it's unidentified anomalous phenomenon, because it can go from space to air to sea without any changes. And I had witnessed that back in '99 in my days in the Coast Guard down off the coast of Puerto Rico, which is a very hot spot for, which is also the tip of the Bermuda Triangle, right? So I'm a personal experiencer, and that's my own personal belief, and I can share that with you, but not everybody has had that personal experience. So that's where my curiosities really started to be inflamed. I really started to subscribe to things that are unseen. I always teach that we have three eyes in life: two to look and one to see. And when this one starts to open, your world really starts to change and transform, because there's a lot of things that are unseen by the physical eye. In fact, as I'm sitting here in front of you, you don't see the Wi-Fi signal that is broadcasting me into your smartphone or your laptop computer or wherever you watch your shows from. Same with my podcast. Podcast is internet radio, and we stream globally on any device from around the world. The air that you're breathing in right now, let's take in that nice divine breath, right? I need it. Helps with sickness, helps with healing. But we don't see the breath and the air that is needed by us as humans that come into our system, right? Because what did we do before we breathed air? We breathed liquid in the womb, right? We were in a liquid state, right? And then, the gravity. I look outside my window and I see I have a big tree outside my studio called Big Zen, and he sways back and forth. And it's a constant reminder that I see the effects of the wind, but I don't see the wind with my actual physical eye. Gravity, same thing. If I decide to take a leap outside of my studio window, which is only one story down, it's going to hurt, but I'm definitely going down, right? And if I don't, then I'll probably be writing about it and sharing about that on my podcast. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of things that we don't see with the physical eye, but we all have our own personal experiences that allows us to become either believers or followers or subscribers to something bigger than ourselves. And that's what we talk about here on Metaphysical Meetup. And so again, we're in the year of the one. We're going to be talking about all this year, strange happenings, things to come. But through my predictions and forecasting, which I don't know any any psychic or any medium that is ever 100% right. We get glimpses and we can touch on things along the way. But I also said in our roaring 20s of transformation that we would also have this great coming together, whether that's caused by something through nature, which nature can change her mind anytime she wants. She is the landlord, we are the tenants. And I sometimes worry that not worry, but I feel like sometimes we forget that we have a place in our planet and we have a place in our universe. And Mother Earth will continue on. She's gone on for 13 plus billion years, right? And humans have been on the planet for about 300,000 years, which if you do the mathematics, we were in my study group on Wednesday, we were watching Carl Sagan's Cosmic Calendar. If you ever get a chance to check that over on YouTube, it's called Carl Sagan Cosmic Calendar. And it's fascinating because even the dinosaurs ruled for about 165 million years, and then they were wiped out, which we know by science, based by history. And if you take us versus dinosaurs, that equates to about what? Mathematically, 330 divided by 165 million is like 0.018%. But yet we think we rule the world, and we don't. And there will be a place for us to be reminded. And I said during our roaring 20s, so I've got 4 more years, I guess, that we'll have this great coming together. And that can be simply a natural event like a super volcano, tsunamis, earthquakes. We all have all those weather phenomenons, but it could also be an external event that, something reveals itself, like an intelligence, like a extra dimensional being, or something rises up out of the water or comes from outer space. I could see it more coming from our oceans than actually from outer space, because we always forget the backside of the planet. We always see the front side of the planet, but we never see the back side of the planet, which is the Pacific Ocean, which is the largest body of water, larger than all the continents combined, right? So there's a lot of water, there's a lot of space out there that we just have not explored. But I've also talked about and forecasted and have seen through my visions, through my dreams, through my free writing, that there will be this great coming together where a majority of the planet will pull together. It's not going to be everybody. It's always 70-30. 70% moves forward, 30% always stays within their lanes, plowing their field, status quo, fear, dogma. That's fine. There's no judgment or opinion here. But I see a great coming together where people and governments will pull together for the human consciousness, for the human species, not necessarily the color of your skin, your sexuality. And we have a lot of chaos going on right now, because if you're in a spiritual path, you know that chaos is usually preceded by or wisdom and acknowledgement and ascension and enlightenment is usually preceded by great chaos. Deepak talks about this a lot. Deepak Chopra, who I follow and big admirer of, about that chaos shakes the jar, right? Shakes the status quo, and then we start thinking, oh, well, maybe we could do this differently, right? So whether it's AI, whether it's robotics, whether it's the advanced technology, whether it's World War III, whether it's revolution, whether it's civil war, those will continue. Your job and your journey, if you choose to, is how you're going to progress with that on a daily basis, because all we have is one day at a time. We think about the future. The mind is so very active about what we think the future is going to hold for us, and then we go back to our past and we realize that we can't change the past and the future is not guaranteed. So your power becomes the present moment. And so one of the things that I'm going to talk to you about today is called the Eisenhower Matrix. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. I came along this years ago. I had actually come across it and I had actually forgot about it until about 2 years ago. And it's about working with time management. It's working with your time is your greatest commodity while you're here. And we're going to talk about a few things. And then I may do a few readings. We'll see, just because I have a live interview here at noon with a good colleague, good friend of mine, talking about awakening. So if you want to learn more about the show on Fridays, what we do, or who I am, you can go right here to marclainhart.com. You can internet search the Intuitive Prospector. We also have our syndicated podcast, Inspired Living, which was recognized this year as not only a best spiritual podcast, a best inspirational podcast. Now we've been recognized as the top 100 in the United States for an introspective podcast. So introspective is looking at ourselves and looking at the world in a bigger perspective. And so we were just recognized by a million podcasts for the best top 100 introspective podcasts to listen to. So we're live on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going into our 11th season. We weren't on this week. We'll be on with a fabulous guest. Next week, we have already like 4 guests already lined up. So if you want to catch that, and again, it's internet radio, so you can go to the website here and get the global player. It's internet radio, so it's not through your radio station, it's through the internet. So you can listen to the show from anywhere around the world on any device. There's no subscriptions, there's no fees, there's no BS. And we are an inspired living podcast that talks about everything in between living and dying and everything that takes place in between and what is seen and what is unseen. And I love doing it. So make sure to check that out because we'll be back on the air Wednesday. And if you want to get over my YouTube channel and follow, we're heading for almost 55,000 subscribers. This is something I learned new through Zoom. This is something new I learned. Here we go. If you want to follow the YouTube channel, just go to marclainhart.com or get to my YouTube channel. There's a lot of stuff going on over there. And of course, if you want to become a subscriber, my Patreon Prospectors and Diamonds Hub through Facebook Live here at marclainhart.com, or leave a comment section and either myself or one of my team members will get back to you. So let's talk about time, because we always talk about as humans, and think about this, we're the only species that pays to live here. We're the only species that measure our life by a time construct. But when it comes down to it, we usually know what all of our account balances are because we make money, we save money, we put money into an account. So I'm pretty sure, I would bet 99% of you know how much you have in your banking account, your checking account, your savings account, your 401 investment, right? Or at least a general idea. But the fascinating thing to me in this journey of curiosity and unknowingness is the waiting game between when we're born and when we die. And that time in between, right? That little mark that's on our gravestone. The year you're born, 1972, April 21st, 1972. Dash, when I leave this place. Because for me, death is not the end. Death is temporary. Death is ascension because the energy in my heart, because science tells me that, physics tells me that. The energy that's in my heart that makes my heart go right now, that makes me an incarnated being, paying to live here, measure my life by time. When this energy stops, my heart stops, but the energy has to progress on. Consciousness moves with that energy, our memories, our love of who we are. Now, whether you believe in reincarnation or you believe in heaven or hell, I always remind people that, that there is no up or down metaphysically on a round planet. If we go up or down on round, you're going to continue on, right? So heaven isn't an actual location. Heaven is a vibration that we vibrate to when this energy that vibrates here changes frequency. And that's why I believe that there is life after death. That's why I believe that there is reincarnation. I believe that from my own perspective and my own experiences, that's why we have a glitch in the matrix, why we have soul amnesia, why we recognize things, but we're not sure why we recognize them, right? We've studied and grouped all of the major top 10 religions around the world, and every single one of them. And there's over 5,000 different gods and over 3,000 different gods, over 5,000 different religions, but my religion is right? No, I'm spiritual, not religious, but we have actually studied scripture of different religions in the top 10 because they all have reference or writings to reincarnation, coming back to do this again. We'll find out, right? But coming back to that little dash of when we incarnate and physically born, breathing liquid, now breathing air, and we grow through the cycle, right? Through the years, we grow. And then eventually some go early, some go middle age, some live very, very long. And then we decarnate into what we call death. And some people believe that there is life after death. Some people don't. They believe that we're just going to the earth and that's it. But from my experiences, from my near-death experiences to my out-of-body experiences to what I've witnessed in my own journey through severe loss and trauma and tragedy of my own family and friends, and the signs and the information through the spiritual language that I get back, it just tells me logically and rationally that there is something after death. But what we don't understand is our account of time. That little dash on the gravestone between life and death is this little dash that represents everything of who we are, right? And I've come to understand that that's the one account we do not know the balance, our time account, our balance of how much time we have left. So it becomes even more important to carpe diem, to seize the day. So I'm going to share this Eisenhower matrix to how you can relate to things that you do with your own time, because time is your greatest commodity and time management becomes very, very important. So let me see if I can pull this up for you. All right. So this was a concept that I had learned. I think I was actually, we'll wait for it to make sure it's coming up for you. And if you can't see this, please leave a comment in the comment section. This is something that I think I was taking a course at Stanford. It was called Writing in the Sciences, and it was a pretty tough course. It was pretty, and we talked about time management. I believe so. It was about 2 or 3 years ago is where I came across this Eisenhower matrix, and what it is, it's about how you value your time. So is in the matrix in this quadrant, is what you do today important? Is it urgent? Is it important? And if it is, do it today because there's no guarantees for tomorrow. Now, if it's not so urgent, then move it to the next category. Again, I love simplicity, right? I love working with acronyms with my background in emergency medicine and healthcare, where you used a lot of acronyms. It helps me to remember stuff. But I also like, like one of my favorite books that I read when I first started coming into metaphysics and spirituality was The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, who we had the honor to interview a couple seasons ago with his new book. But he always talked about do what you say you're going to do your best at what you're going to do, don't make assumptions and don't take it personally. Now, there's a fifth agreement that says, listen, but what is it? Trust, learn to listen, but verify, something of those lines. But the four agreements, and that's why I like it because it's something I can remember in my P brain. And this is something that has helped me over with time and time management. So if it's important, put it into this bucket right here. Do it today. If it's urgent and important to you and your journey. If it's not, if it's still important to you, but it's not of an urgency, schedule it out. Schedule it, put it on your calendar. Like if you can see my calendar, I know my calendar between now through the end of the year. And there will be certain things I'll take on and things that I'll take off, appointments. But I don't put any time or effort until that date arrives because I don't know if I'll make that date, right? So if it's urgent, do it today. If it's important and urgent, do it today. If it's not urgent but still important, schedule a time to do it. Put it on the calendar and then don't put any thought to it because thought is energy. Energy is a part of who we are. And so I'll look at my calendar real quick. Let me just see what's on my calendar. So later this afternoon, I have an awakening interview that I'm going to do live with my friend. She's going to interview me. We're going to talk about the awakening. That's not until noon today. So I have about an hour and a half before that. But I don't put any time or effort until right before the show. Maybe I need to pull some notes together and then I'll do it. But I'm going to pick a random month. I'm going to go into May. May 13th is my anniversary. May 5th is Cinco de Mayo. May 26th, I got the dentist on May 26th. But it's on my calendar, so it's not urgent, but I scheduled the time to do it. And I'm not going to put any time or effort thinking about it until I get the reminder of that day. Hey, Mark, on May 26th, you have a dentist appointment to get your teeth cleaned. Perfect. Okay. So if it's important and urgent, do it today. If it's not urgent, but it's still important to you, schedule a time to do it. Leave it on that calendar and don't put any more time or thought to it. We have the technology that reminds us. I live by my calendar. I get my alerts, including my client readings. Now, if it's not important, but it's urgent, delegate it to someone else. Delegate it to maybe you have children. Maybe you don't want to clean the bathroom today. So it's not really important, but it's still kind of urgent. Delegate it, or your spouse or your coworkers. This happens in the corporate world. A lot of people don't find it important for them, and it's not urgent, so they'll delegate it to someone else. And then, of course, if it's not important and it's not urgent, eliminate it. Stop doing this. Stop putting your time and effort and mind into something that is not urgent or important to you, because it's about time management, about your time and what your account says how much time you have left, right? So this is all just to help you with time as we move into the year of the one, the year of the horse. Again, if it's urgent and important, do it today. If it's important but not urgent, schedule a time to do it. If it's not important, but it's still a little bit urgent, you can still delegate it to someone else. And of course, if it's not urgent and it's not important, eliminate it, stop doing it, move on. All right. So that's called the Eisenhower matrix. And it just, hopefully it'll help you with your journey because time does become our greatest commodity, not money. We need money. I'm not saying that, but time is the greatest commodity while we're here of the journey of consciousness in the human experience. Now, what I've seen in this journey too, and we're gonna pivot a little bit, but I hope that does that make sense to everybody that's watching? Is it helpful? Because this is what we're going to be doing in the year of the one, is we're going to be bringing not just concepts and readings and inspiration, but things that you might want to do for yourself. So another thing that I want to remind you of, and I see this a lot, especially in the spiritual communities, where people they follow other people. We see this a lot today through social media. Followers, people have millions and millions of followers, and that's fine. But one of the things that life is the most difficult exam. And I find that in whether it's my clients or my students, that many people fail, and failure is okay. Failure is not a bad thing. If you follow my journey and my work and my writings, I've always said that failure is first attempt in learning. But what I see a lot in today's society is a lot of people fail continuously and they don't learn because they're trying to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper. So, that's why life becomes the most difficult, because many times people won't find their authentic selves. A big path of this journey is to know thyself, right? We think, therefore we are. But when we copy and we're not being authentic, and again, being authentic and being unique or being weird comes with a lot of opinions and judgments as well, right? The only way not to get opinionated or judged in life is not to do anything, say anything, or be anything. That's according to Plato, Aristotle, the great philosophers. So you might as well live your most authentic life, because people are always going to have an opinion. They're like eyebrows and elbows, and almost everybody on the planet has them. My apologies for people that don't have elbows or eyebrows, calling you out, just saying. But many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that we all have a different question paper, right? So part of my journey is to help you go after the diamond within and the many hidden gems that are all around us. And so that's why life can be very difficult. And I see it a lot, especially in the spiritual community. I see people that try to emulate a certain medium, the way a certain medium is, and then they try to copy it, make it like their own, and get popular from it. I've even talked to my mentors who went on to tell me that they would take their students would take their teachings and emulate and plagiarize a lot of what their teaching was, versus finding your own. Now, my students, they know that I would never allow that, and I've mentored several people along the years. But part of my mentorship is for you to find your own path, to find your own diamond, to find who you are. You may take aspects of my teachings, just like I've taken aspects of my own teachers and mentors, but I've made it my own and not plagiarized. But I'm very grateful to stand on their shoulders of teaching me to where I'm at today. So, part of this path with time management is to know thyself. Now, you're going to change along the way, and we'll probably be talking about this later this afternoon about awakening, because the caterpillar can't remain the caterpillar. The caterpillar can only become the butterfly if it goes through a severe struggle within the cocoon. And some people, and I'm saying this because I struggled with this myself, that change is inevitable. The one thing consistent in life is what? Change. So you being accepting of yourself and having trust and grace and patience for transformation, just like the caterpillar calls it the end of the world. I'm dying, I'm deliquifying, I'm going into a protein liquid goo sack of what the cocoon is, only to merge and say what the caterpillar called the end of the world, the butterfly called a whole new beginning. Or another adage or another example, when the fly lands in the web, what the fly calls the end of the world, the spider says, hey, I'm getting to eat and I survive, right? So there's different perspectives, but change isn't a betrayal, it's evolution. And you've got to remember that on your journey as you go through these transformations, because it's not easy. And you will question, because you're human and we question everything, right? We're like a 2-year-old in the back seat. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? What is that? What is this? What is this? Especially if you start to awaken in the awakened journey, which I did almost 2 decades ago. And I struggled with my self-identity and who I am and what would people think of me, and friends lost and friends gained, family members lost, new family members not necessarily by blood gained. That's going to happen, but you got to remember, one of the adages is when manipulation stops, rejection begins. And to know thyself, you're going to have some rejection and you're going to have some manipulation. And manipulation is your own self-manipulation through the ego. So one of the things that I came across, and I'm going to share this with you, about how change isn't betrayal, change is evolution. And evolution is also ascension. Whether you believe in Darwin's evolution, that's a different conversation. But it's about ascension. And so change isn't betrayal, it's evolution. I've said things that I don't stand by anymore. True. I've done things that don't match who I am now. True. That's not being fake. That's what happens when you outgrow lives you used to live in. And I used to live in some very dysfunctional, very hurtful, very negative patterns that when I started to heal and when I started to know myself and when I started to prospect, I realized, and again, these are certain relationships, certain family relationships, certain friendships that it's not me being fake. It's just what happens when you outgrow lies you used to live in. And sometimes we don't know we're living a lie because of how we're raised, or maybe you're brought up with learned behavior or religious indoctrination. Shoot, when you're born already into a system with a social security number or some sort of identity wherever you're at in the world, right? A tracker, if you will. And so what happens is you outgrow that, just like the caterpillar outgrows itself to become something different. And that's not fake. That's what happens when you outgrow lives you used to live in. So change isn't betrayal, it's evolution. I've buried versions of myself that kept me small, and I don't feel guilty for it. If you're not uncomfortable with who you used to be, you haven't grown enough. And one of the things that we teach on is being in that uncomfortability zone, because it's in the uncomfortability zone, just like the caterpillar was very uncomfortable. If I put it into my mind that I start to deliquify, right? That's pretty uncomfortable, right? Oh my gosh, what is happening? I'm deliquifying. And there's times, whether it was through my near-death experience or through my plant medicine experiences, yeah, I feel like I'm dying. I feel like I'm deliquifying, but only to emerge because it's the protein stack in that struggle in that cocoon that the butterfly re-emerges as a completely different thing. Wings, flight, perspective, height. And so if you're not uncomfortable with who you used to be, you haven't grown enough. And so that's really where, and I've had, this last year, very transformative. I've got over $250,000 worth of, equipment in me, right? I've had 5 surgeries since last April. I had an early medical retirement. Now I'm not retired. I'm retired from the corporate world, thank God. Never working for the man again. But I get to do a lot of this. I get to do a lot of travel. I get to do a lot of teaching. I get to do a lot of prospecting, exploring, going to different places, different people. People are portals, and writing, podcasting, teaching lessons. My spiritual collective group on Wednesdays. We get to do a lot of different things that I never got to do. And I say we because there's the old version of me and there's the new version of me. And as we are in the year of the one, get on that horse. Sometimes you got to trust the horse to lead the way and just hold on, right? Buckle in, buckle up, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to transpire in this year, whether you agree with it or not agree with it. But your greatest power is how you respond to things and how you don't respond to things. And I always said, this last year of transformation for myself, to have lots of metal put into my bodies, and I've had my spine lifted, I've had part of my spine removed, and I've had my spine refused, like fused together with 4 screws and 2 brackets, right? And a full knee replacement. So that is transformation. But during that process, I never would play the victim of it. Don't play the victim of your circumstances. It's part of your evolution. It's part of your ascension. It's part of your transformation. And that's not easy to do, but it happens for you, not to you. Because if it's happening to you, you're the victim of it. If it's happening for you, it's because it's taking you to somewhere bigger, better than yourself. Now, with that being said, we've covered the Eisenhower matrix for time management. We've talked about life's difficult exams because people are trying to copy others and not living their authentic selves. We've talked about change isn't betrayal, change is evolutional. And the last thing I'm going to share with you today, before we sign off, we got about 15 minutes. I came across this and I wanted to share this with you. Actually, I'm going to share 2 more slides with you today. I'm going to try to get in the habit of doing this with you more if you enjoy it. Let me just say, hi, Katie. Good to see you. Hi, Cynthia. I witnessed a phenomenon as well. Yes, you did, I'm sure. Do you see anything changing with the way patriarchy has control and bouncing this out of the collective? Yeah, it's the year of the truth, Cynthia. Hi, Emily. Hi, Ray. Good to see you, my friends. So a couple of you joining in, so thanks for tuning in. But I'll be doing more meditations, more sound bath, more slides like we're doing today. And again, it's the year of the one. And again, if you're a subscriber, if you want to follow and be a Diamond Sub subscriber or Patreon Prospector, you get those links right here at marclainhart.com. We're going to be doing a lot more, not just with the podcast and the YouTube channel and classes coming up that you won't hear about publicly. You'll have to be a subscriber. But remember, the first Friday of every month in 2026, the year of the one, if you're a paid subscriber through those two outlets, remember you have your Diamonds Days, the first Friday of every month. So last Friday was the first Friday, which was January 2nd. Had a couple of you tune in and come in, but it's if you're a subscriber, it's your monthly way to connect with me, to get a reading, to get guidance, to get healing, to get whatever you need. And there's two sessions, one in the morning at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's mostly for my international subscribers. You can come in either or, but I have two time zones or two time frames for my subscribers. 11:30 a.m. on the first Friday of every month, and then at 3 p.m. that afternoon. And the links are in the subscribers pages. So Patreon, you'll get notice, and Diamonds Hub here, you'll get notice. And you just click on the Zoom link, you come in. If I'm already in a session, I get notification that somebody's in the waiting room, and then I start the clock. When I'm talking with that person, you get 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what we're at. And then I bring the next person in, and I'll let you know, hey, we're just wrapping up. Stay in the breakout room. We'll bring you in, and you can talk to me directly via Zoom video. You can call into the Zoom platform. You can call me on my business line. My business line's there, and we can converse and we can prospect together for things that you're looking for on the first Friday of every month, and it's called Diamonds Day. So I hope you'll take advantage of that subscription service and those benefits. And again, it can be numerology, it can be psychic, it can be mediumship, it can be intuitive. It can be like, hey, Mark, how you doing? Let's just talk. And it can be just over a cup of coffee. But as subscribers, make sure to get advantages of those subscription services that I'm offering in 2026. And of course, you can always book a reading with me at marclainhart.com, which my calendar is already starting to fill up. So, yes, Happy New Year to you, Katie. Good to see you. Good stuff. Like your info sharing. Good, good. I'm glad you like it. So here's another one I want to share with you. And this is about this slide that I'm going to share with you is how can one master the mind, right? In 2026, the year of the one. This is actually from a source by Sanjay Guru the source is called Mind Your Business. And I try to source if I'm using slides or music. Just know all my music is copyright free, trademark free. So for example, the opening of this show, we had Diamonds on the Vine by Airlands. And then the other song, if I go back, I don't know if I can go back to that. Oh, no. All my music is approved through my social media platforms. So they're copyright free, trademark free. So if they go over to YouTube, the artist can copyright it and there's no penalty to me. Or my podcast, same thing. I'm not infringing on somebody else's rights, music, stuff like that. And so when I'm showing you these slides too, I'll source them. This isn't my information. This is somebody else that I came across that I'm sharing with you. And so I'll source that as well. I do apologize. I don't remember the opening song. You could probably just Shazam it and it can tell you who it is. But what I'm saying is all of my music is copyright trademark free and my slides are always sourced. So this is no different. This is how one can master the mind. And this is from Mind is Your Business by Sanjay Guru. And it looks like this. And I'll just read it to you. And then we've got one last slide, and then we will call it a day. Got some messages coming in. All right. Give it a sec for it to load up. All right, here we are. How one can master the mind. Your mind meant to connect with the divine, whatever or whoever the divine is with you. I don't try to convince anybody anymore. Maybe when I was younger, in my 20s, more ignorant, more naive, of course. But whatever you connect with the divine, if you have a divine, often becomes a path to chaos when too tied to various things, agendas, dogmas, belief systems. This identification distorts your perception, affecting every aspect of your life. Many ask, quote, how can we experience something significant like you did? I get asked this all the time. Now, I've also gone through a lot of trials and tribulations, what I call the TNT, starting at the age of 27, which included the severe loss of both my brothers, who we were celebrating in January, and my father-in-law, who had died before them. But those events changed who I was, and it changed even how I saw religion and spirituality and death and dying. And so it really, my own identification, it distorted my own perception. And people ask me, how can we experience something significant like you did? The answer is go explore, go live your life, ask the big questions, ask the difficult questions, because when the student is ready, the teacher does appear. And sometimes we ask questions that we may not get the answers to, but the experiences, the signs, the symbols, the synergies, the synchronicities that I teach and talk about all the time, the spiritual intelligence of the language that is something besides incarnated physical life, the universe, star seed, heaven, hell, whatever you want to call it, that is the best way to experience is to live. And I use the acronym LIFE. I have it right off camera here. Above my altar off camera, there's a plaque that says life happens. Life doesn't ask us what we want. It's about how we are flexible, how we are not flexible, how we can twist and turn to it or stay straight and broken by it, right? But the acronym that I love and have used for years, life, learn it from experience. Learn it from experiences. That is how you're going to experience the cool things seen and unseen. And just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not around you. Just like my meter right here off camera, I turn this on because this is an EMF meter that will actually register energy. If energy comes into the studio, I can visually see it. And again, that's not Marc's opinion. That's science. Science shows us that there are many things, the microscope, the telescope, there are many things that are not seen by the physical eye, but us as humans want to see it before we believe it. I would actually challenge you to change and flip script. Believe it, then you start to see it, then you start to achieve it. That is how you can experience something significant like I do. It's not about someone choosing for you. It's about keeping your intellect free from identification. Don't tie it to your body, your gender, your family, your qualifications, or societal labels. By shedding countless identification, and again, you're born into an identification when you're born. Think about that. Every person naturally moves towards their true nature, to know thyself, to know who you are. And again, the journey of 1,000 miles, as Lao Tzu reminds us, begins with what? A single step. So every person naturally moves towards their true nature. To turn the mind's circus into a harmonious performance, the key is keeping your intellect unattached. There's no alternative. And again, source is Mind is Your Business by Sajay Guru. All right. So thought I'd just share that with you. That's how one can master the mind. And that's how, again, your experiences, life experiences, both good, bad, and in between, can lead you to education. Education can lead you to knowledge. Knowledge can lead you to wisdom. Wisdom can lead you to enlightenment. Enlightenment can lead you to how you master the mind if you choose to. You don't have to. So, all right. So I hope that makes sense. Hello, Mark. Beautiful souls. Haven't caught a live in a long time. I'm just catching the end. No worries, Victoria. Good to see you. I wasn't. I took a couple weeks off for the holidays, so that's why there was no shows. But we're back Fridays, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can also catch shows like this over on my YouTube channel. So I would suggest going over to my YouTube channel. Everything is right here at marclainhart.com. It's your one-stop shop. So I do my two thumbs. I did it before. I wonder. I'm playing around with my technology here. So with Zoom, I was doing this the other day, and I had two thumbs up. I was giving two thumbs up to somebody. Now there it goes. And if you hold, your video will actually. Well, let's try and it will actually do fireworks. But if I do one thumb, see if it'll do it. One thumb will. Then it puts my thumb up in the corner. If you do two thumbs, it does fireworks. Isn't that cool? And it should show up on the live stream, I would imagine. Let's see. I'm looking at the live stream right now just to see. The live stream's delayed about 30 seconds. There it is. Yeah, so it does show up on the live stream. Isn't that cool? Again, our technology is going to be off the hook, y'all. Just buckle up. The biggest test for us as humans is if we can evolve through our technology. Many civilizations, and there's a scale of civilizations, we can talk about that at a different time. We're not even at a level 1 civilization scale yet. And the big test for us will be, can we advance and evolve and ascend through our own technological advances? But as Oppenheimer had talked about when we built the nuclear bomb, and maybe Einstein talked about it too. It's like a mouse building its own mousetrap. Are we on our own demise, right? And the times that we're living in would make you question that. But if we can evolve and if we can ascend through our technology, this technology in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years is going to be just even more advanced. Robotics, automation, AI. I've done, I did a podcast, you're going to go listen to it, about the advancement of the interconnection between humanity and AI, and my perspective and my forecasting future thoughts on that. If you want to go check that podcast, you can get Inspired Living wherever you listen to your podcast. We're now streaming through all major platforms, and we'll be back for the first show next Wednesday. Going to be talking about, what are we talking about? Hey, look at energy. We got some fluctuation there. Unbroken, about how life can break us down, but how to remain unbroken. So I'm looking forward to that guest. We got some really cool guests coming up, so I hope that you'll join us for that. But the last thing I want to leave you with before we end, and if anybody has any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments section. Make sure to get your follower badge, because I look for badges like Victoria. You can see Victoria's name coming up in the comment section. She has a badge next to her name. And you get that by interacting. I don't have any control of that. If you become a subscriber through Diamonds Hub or Patreon Prospectors, I'll know that, or you'll have a badge that says that you're a subscriber, and that's how I can identify my subscribers when I'm on my live feed. But again, thank you to my team for keeping the comments clean, concise, positive, inspiring, uplifted. We don't try to get into rants and debates because everybody becomes a keyboard warrior. We're not. That's not what this is for. This is for community and also perspective, and just to share ideas and bounce ideas and have discussions. Because life is short, right? Live it, carpe diem. But the last thing I want to say to you, unless anybody has any questions for me, hi Tara. See, like Tara just popped up. You can see she has a badge next to her name. If you click on her little, on my end, it looks like a green heart. She's a subscriber here on Diamonds Hub. So Tara, you have a question for me? She gets right to the front of the line. All my subscribers, paid subscribers, get the front of the line access, VIP access. So if you guys have questions for me, ask away, because I got about an hour before I have to get ready for my interview. But if you have any questions, I'm going to share one more slide with you before we end. Happy to answer your questions. Leave a comment. Sometimes I do live Zoom feeds where you can come in. I'm not doing that today, or you can call my business line. I'm not doing that today. I might do it next week. But if you have any questions, post them real quick and I'll try to answer them the best I can. And if not, then I'll share the last slide with you, which is about the journey, about exploring in the year of the one, 2026. So I'll just wait to see if there's any comments that come in. And while I'm doing that, let's share the last slide and let's cue up some music with some good music here. Bear with me. I'm looking up for some music here. Maybe. Okay. Maybe the music doesn't want to cue. Okay. So just looking at music to close the show for us. All right. So any questions for me? If not, I'm going to share this last slide with you and then we'll call it a day. If I can. Again, Happy New Year to you, the year of the horse, the year of the one in numerology, new cycle, new beginnings, new ideas, new creations, new joys, new failures, new births, new loss. All right, here we go. So this comes from Plato, and this is what I'm going to encourage you for the year of the one to do. Sometimes it takes courage. Sometimes it takes discipline. Sometimes it takes to know thyself. And it says this, and this is from Plato. The journey to truth begins with wonder and the courage to question. This is where I was about 2 decades ago. I really was questioning a lot of things going on around me, seen and unseen, death and dying. Like I said, both my brothers the same, made their transitions in the same month of January, January 5th, January 23rd, one from murder, one from brain cancer, and then father-in-law from multiple sclerosis. So a lot of things, murder trials, everything that I'd never really had gone through, but it really was the beginning, even though horrible. And again, this isn't a woe is me, feel sorry for Mark thing. This was, I say this as a teaching moment and as an aha moment for me, because it was the journey to truth began at that time when I was 27. And again, with the wonder and the courage to question. And that's from the famous philosopher Plato, which I just love, and I've always thought about that. The journey of your truth um, begins with your ability to question and the courage to not only question, but to follow that path, to know thyself, to learn to let shit go, to learn to evolve past manipulation, to maybe let relationships go and love people from a distance, what's best for you, to develop new relationships because people are portals to new ways of thinking, new understanding, new experiences. So I hope that makes sense. Again, we covered a couple different aspects today, from the Eisenhower matrix to life lessons and the exam that you're given, to, changing is not betrayal. It's actually part of your evolution of transformation. And of course, the courage to, the journey of truth is based on the questions you ask and the courage that you're willing to take. So if there's no other questions for me, I will call it there. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the recognition. I won an award in 2026, and so the Best American Psychics. I was their 2026 awesome accolades award winner. So I won that award back in 2015, and to revisit that in 2026, very honored, very humbled, very grateful that people give their feedback. You can see the meters kind of bumping up there a little bit, kind of activating. But just humbled for the recognition for the work that we do, because it's not just me. There's other people that help me do this work, and especially with the podcast being now a top 100 introspective podcast to follow. And we promise to keep amazing guests and content coming your way. I'll be back next Friday for another metaphysical meetup with the Intuitive Prospector. I appreciate all of you. Happy New Year, the year of the one. The snake cleared the path. The horse now leads the way. Make it your best year yet. With whatever time you have left. So we'll be back next Friday, the 16th, and then every Friday thereafter at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can also go over and catch this show and other shows over on my YouTube channel, or you can listen to Inspired Living wherever you get your favorite podcast from. So it's been a pleasure hanging out with you. I don't see any questions coming in, so we will call it there. The song that's going to close us out is Something So Good by Mr. Charlie Peacock. And as I always do, until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate. And most importantly, wherever you're at, whatever's going on in your journey, in your life path, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover the diamond within, but also discover the many hidden gems that are all around us, just waiting to be revealed. So have a great rest of your weekend. Happy New Year, the year of the one. Namaste. Namago. All right. Take care, buddy.
Time to wake up, time to move. I got you by my side, and I can do anything I dream as long as I got you in my life. Hey, hey, I'm happy to be with you. Hey, 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 it's a sunshine day. Hey, hey, I'm happy to be with you. Hey, 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 let's head out on the highway. We are onto something so good. We something so good. We are onto something so beautiful. We are onto something, something so good. We are onto something so beautiful.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.